Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here and welcome to episode 50 of my AS Monaco series. Of course, this is a special episode where I'm going to be going back in time, looking at the results, the league tables, the victories, the losses, things like that, the players as well. That's a massive thing of this episode as well. But first of all, I advanced a few days into the future from the end of season review, which was of course the previous episode. And yeah, I've already completed one of the goals that I set for myself in that episode. So as you can see, the board announces plans for a new stadium. AS Monaco board has today announced that the club has been granted planning permission to build a new stadium. Construction of the Rybalev. Let me pronounce this correctly. Rybal. Ryb. What? Rybalovlev. Rybalovlev. Alright, the Rybalovlev Arena, named after the club's chairman. I think he's Russian or something like that. We'll have a look in a second. The Rybalovlev Arena, named after the club's chairman, will cost around £62 million. Although this figure will be offset by the £21.5 million club. The £21.5 million pounds the club will receive by selling the Stade Louis II. The board are delighted to announce that they will be able to finance external funding. Additional funding the project has been secured with a stadium sponsorship deal, 24.7 mil. The new stadium is scheduled to be finished on Monday the 16th of June 2025 and will boast undersoil heating, a retractable roof and a capacity of around 28,185 guys. So that's like basically a 10,000 plus add-on to the stadium we have now, but obviously it's a new stadium, so make of that what you will. Anyway, so that's that. That's one goal that I set myself in the previous episode, and it literally happened within, what, like 5 game days? So that's fucking awesome. Alright, so let's really get into this episode. To do this, I want to go way back in time to the first season's transfers. Now this is going to be interesting because I don't even remember who I signed in that first season at all. So, alright, let's do this. We'll use this. It's quicker. Alright, so 2013 season. Okay. We'll have a look at the outs first. I mean, Andreas Wolf went to Club Brugge on loan. I think he was like a 34-year-old or a 30-year-old defender or something like that. Valery Germain went to Standard on loan. This guy's still around. Wow. I think he plays at Newcastle now, I think. Raji went to... Who was Raji? I don't even remember this. Oh, that's right. He was the really, really shit Italian defender. He was like 28 years old. And he went to Avellino for 250k. Who are a fucking shit Italian team. Herman Stengel went to loan. Lazaro, they were the two players I brought in. The little youth prospects. They've actually turned out half decent. I mean... They still wouldn't make it him. Oh, he might make it as a very, very, very backup attacking midfielder. Don't know who that is. Jacob Paulsen went to Al Sadd for 1 mil, who is now an assistant manager, and he's 39 years old. Anyway, the ins. Akin Thief. What a failure this guy was for me, anyway. As you can see, he's still at PSG. We bought him in for 15 mil from Moscow. Seamus Coleman, very good player, to be fair. 8.25 from Everton. Igna, who's now a director of football for Fortuna Cologne. Stengel from Stabik on a free. We got Lazaro for 675k. Sadio Mane, who now plays for Southampton. We brought him in from Red Bull Salzburg for 3.6 mil. And Giovanni Moreno. Who's this bloke? I actually don't remember ever signing this guy. But okay. I'll actually have to go back and watch the very first episode, or the second episode, because the first one, which was the introduction, that was actually posted 8 months ago, guys. 8 months ago that was posted. And I mean, there have been periods where I didn't post Football Manager videos, and I posted, other videos that I do on my channel. But I always came back. I always came back to this series. I loved this series and this team. And, yeah. Anyway, let's have a look at how we actually did in that first season. And I remember it quite well because it was not a pretty thing at all. How do I do it? I always fuck this up. We need to go into this, don't we? We need to go into the main stages. There we go. Okay, thank you. Alright, so I've worked out how to do it properly. Alright, as you can see, we came 10th. 10th in my first season. How did I not get the sack? I don't understand. My tactic in this season was fucking horrible. I remember it so well. It was really bad. We came 10th. Mid-table team. And obviously PSG won it. But FC Lorient, they actually were tied on goal difference, tied on points, and PSG took it on goal difference. So that's very interesting. Alright, let's get into the next transfers for the season after that. Transfer history, and we'll go one over. Okay, a lot more activity, and this is the season that I took a lot of shit for. And the actual video, I think it's episode 5 preseason, got quite a few dislikes. Well, the two main reasons, and we'll get into it, one of the main reasons first. I sold Falcao to Chelsea for 40 million. And obviously he's now a coach, but he only retired like a year ago or the year before that. Sold him for 40 million. He just would not score goals for me. Let's have a look at his record. Can we... Yeah, here we go. Alright. One season. He scored 14 goals in 35 league games and got a 6.87. I mean, to be fair, my tactic was shit, and I kind of regretted selling him because with, the tactic that I have now, he would have been an absolute tank. Anyway, who else did we let go? We let Isat Mirin go to Anderlecht, who was he was a fairly young centre defender. He turned out quite well. Good on him. Now plays for Gladbach. We then sold Kagelmacher to Dresden for 1.4. I don't even know. Okay. Yep, whoever that is. Koulibaly went on loan. Couldn't get rid of him. I remember him. He was that defensive midfielder that just would not leave. No one wanted to buy him, so I just had to keep loaning him out. Jermaine actually left the club this season. That's not this season. That season, I should say. He went to Bordeaux for 1.6. No, Indina. He was the other central midfielder, along with Koulibaly, who no one just wanted to buy, so I had to loan him out as well. Sold Marino. Oh wow, I actually sold Marino the season after for quite a bit of profit. I brought him in for what, like 300k the season before, and yeah, he went out for 3 mil. Impressive little flip there by me. We sold Edgar Sully, who in previous versions of the game turned into quite a player. Didn't really live up to his hype there on this year's version. We sold Wolf for 44k to Red Bull Leipzig. Don't know who that is. Obiati, I kind of remember him. Kind of. He was sold to Casablanca. Anyway. Oh, here we go. The number one transfer of this. I mean, little did I know. I mean, there's kind of like 2, maybe 3. Oh, there's actually quite a few looking down the list. But this guy, Claude Ulrich, absolute buy of... best buy I've ever made on Football Manager, without a doubt. Hands down. Look at his stats. At 24 years old, look at those stats. Look at how much I brought him in for. 38.5k. That is retarded. Look how much he's valued at now. 34 million. He's nearly got the exact same amount of value as he did in thousands that he has in millions now. That is retarded. I can't even fathom that I got him for that cheap, and a player of that quality came through RC Strasbourg. Anyway, Genzo, he was brought in. Turned out to be a massive flop, 1.2 mil. Pretty cheap though, to be fair. Joel Matip is one of the other players I mentioned. Absolute rock. I mean, he pretty much won me the Champions League and League One this season. Absolute beast. He came in from Schalke for 16 mil. Lowry, he was actually brought in the second season. I didn't realise that. I only recently sold him, to be fair, like 2 seasons ago or something. Oh, maybe not. I'm thinking of a different player, maybe. Yeah, I think I'm thinking... Oh, no, yeah, look. Oh, that's right. I sold him in, what, 2021, so it was 2 seasons ago. But he's just been in and out of the reserve squad for them, so... Yeah, it looks like 6 years or so, but it's not. It's only two seasons, yeah. So that's interesting. I mean, we didn't make much of a profit on him, to be fair. Papadopoulos is another one of the players that I brought in. Obviously, we sold him last season, but he was an absolute servant to the club. Fernandez is another one. He didn't play very well. Let's have a look at his record, to be fair. Oh, we can't. That sucks. Fuck you. Anyway, sorry for swearing. But he was brought in on a Bosman, I think, so interesting. Cheryshev had a good season here on loan, which was good. Luke Shaw, probably one of the better left backs we've ever had, although I think Haji's probably just as good as he was. We did end up selling him to Man City, who he's still at, but as you can see, we bought him for 24 and I sold him for 19. Don't even get me started. I have no idea why I actually sold him. I think I wanted to bring through my own French players, I had some reasoning like that, but I really shouldn't have done that because he was world class. Aruka came in. I was trying to bring him in as a ball-winning midfielder. He was never really good enough, to be honest. And then came the second part of why I actually copped so much shit and why my video got quite a few dislikes. It was because I bought Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. From Borussia Dortmund for 50 million. So basically paid 10 million more than I sold Falcao for to buy a Aubameyang. Bought him for the pace, obviously. He's still around these days. You know, a shadow of the player he once was on loan from Inter at Cardiff. Sorry guys, just yawning. Yeah, 50 million. Van Eyck was brought in from Feyenoord for 8.5, and everybody knows Van Eyck if you watch my series. Absolute world beater, centre back, and he's paid at 34 million now after the Champions League final as well. He's always been one of my favourites ever since I brought him in. I always tried to, pretty much from the start, I tried to embed him. Look, he got his first league appearance after I bought him. So yeah, he got one there. Then he didn't play in that season, to be fair. Then he got 14, and he's pretty much been quite consistent around that 20 game mark. And this season he had his best season ever. Won the league and won the Champions League thanks to him as well. So, very good. 31 games in the league with a 7.38. Very good. Anyway, Ashley Cole was also brought in as a backup left back to Shaw, who's now 38 and doesn't have a record. So, this season, I do want to get through this a bit quicker. This has been quite a long video already. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I'll make it a long video. It'll probably be around the 30 to 40 minute mark, but you know what? You guys deserve it. You've absolutely given this series so much support, so yep, there we go. Alright, hopefully you stick through the whole video. That would be amazing. Alright, we need to get back into the stages, yeah, and we'll go one over. So, a bit of a better contrast from the season before to the 2014-15 season. We came 6th there. As you can see, typical PSG, if you remember, won the league again. They actually won it on goal difference once again, this time beating Lyon, who was tied on 75 points with them. So we came 6th. I think that gave us Europa League, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure if we should actually have a look at that or not. But yeah, 6th in the league, nowhere near good enough. I think we actually ended up with 2 points more than the previous season. Let's have a look. We finished with 4 more points. So that was a pretty good advance from season to season. We managed to accumulate, a win and a draw more than we did the previous season. Very good. All right, let's get into the next season, the 2015-16. As you can see, we pretty much let every single youth player that was actually in the squad. We let them go. All the reserve players as well. Eric Abidal also left, and he's a coach at Amiens now. That's pretty cool. So we let him go. He had no pace. He wasn't very good. We let Poho, don't know who that is, go on a free to Chamonix. Gengar went to Siena for 230k. Sabasic, I think he was a left back or a midfielder or a I actually don't know. We let him go to Antwerp. Who else is worthy of a mention? We sold Eekner. Wait, didn't we already? Oh no, yeah, didn't we sell Eekner already? I don't even know. Yeah, whatever. I don't even know what I'm talking about, to be honest. We sold. Oh, this is where we sold Akinfeev to PSG for like 2 million more than I bought him for. But he was just so horrible, and I kind of blamed him as to why we were so shit in the league, to be honest. So I got rid of him. He played very well for PSG for the seasons that he was there. We let Jermaine Defoe go. I forgot to mention him in the previous year, but we signed him and then we let him go straight away. He was a backup to the backup of my strikers. We let Aruka go as well. Made a bit of a profit in him, so that was alright, but he was also shit. We let Borgia go out on loan. Who else do we have here? I signed a few players. They went out on loan as well. We sold Ganzo to Vittoria, 3 mil. Sadio Mane to Everton for 2 mil. And yeah, I remember Tisserand. He was interesting. And he plays for Twente now. Interesting. Alright, so if we have a look at this side, you can actually see that we brought quite a few decent players into the club in this 2015-16 season. First of all, well, I mean, he's a first teamer now, and like the other two I mentioned for the year before, he actually helped us win League One and the Champions League this season. So Lassine Hadji was brought in for £350,000. Cheap as chips for a player of his quality. And for some reason, I've always thought that he was actually a youth academy graduate, but he wasn't. I bought him from Shox Monteb, and he turned into a world beater, one of my favourite players at the club. Didn't really actually make his breakthrough until probably like 5 seasons ago. Yeah, about here. Or maybe even the season before, really. He had a break. Oh, I don't know. He kind of played a few games. Oh, that was in the reserve. No, it was, yeah. It was that season he made his break into the squad. Had a disappointing season there, I guess. 11 games and didn't get over a 7. But apart from that, every other season he's been over 7. So, and obviously, like I said, he's had his best season this year with a 7.46 in 26 games, scoring 5 goals at left back. Very good. We signed Aspelenberg, who, never really played. He played a few games, scored a few goals for us. Let's have a look. Where are we here? There, no. Where did he score goals for us? I just remember, must have been cup games or something like that. But I remember in one game he played really well. Delac was a backup goalkeeper. Jason Steele was our goalkeeper that I signed to replace Akinfeev. He played very well when he was called upon for the few seasons he was at the club. So he did well. We signed Lucas Podolski on loan from Arsenal. That's weird. I don't remember doing that really. Marin, he played quite heavily for us as well. He's now 34. We bought him for 8.75 from Dortmund. We signed Justin Stewart. Now this was a quality signing, but I never utilised him correctly, and then I sold him for quite a small fee, to be fair. But we brought him in for 500k from Perth Glory FC, obviously an Australian club in the A-League, which is obviously, I'm Australian. I'm not from Perth, but my local team does actually verse Perth in the A-League, so yeah, interesting little region. As you can see, he's playing for Tottenham now, and he is 26, and as you can see, he's an absolute world-class player, so thank you for doing that to me, Justin Stewart. Paredes, who was brought in, he was crap. Tesserin, obviously, he is a reserve, well, not a reserve player, he's one of my reserves quite frequently. He's a very good player. I have Ulrich, who's my ball winner at the moment, so he kind of misses out, but he does play the odd game here and there. We also signed Martin Montoya that season, so that's interesting. I don't really remember him actually playing all that much, because we had Coleman. Let me see. Oh, he played a few games. Obviously not getting over a 7, so that's probably the reason why I sold him. Made a massive profit on him though. Bought him for just under 5, sold him for just over 15. Impressive. They call me a wheel dealer. They call me Ari Redknapp. Anyway, so that was that season. Let's see how we did in the league. Oh, I can't do that, can I? I'll jump into this again. Alright, so that time we actually came second. We went from 6th to 2nd in the league. It's quite of a massive improvement. We only edged out Marseille by 1 point, and obviously PSG won the league again, this time a bit more dominant. But we came second, got Champions League football for the first time, so that was quite sweet. And yeah, second became quite a trend from this point on, didn't it? A lot of you guys will probably remember these earlier episodes, these earlier seasons I should say. I could not beat PSG for the life of me, just couldn't do it. So yeah, we'll get back into the transfers now for the next season, the 16-17 season. Rivere was sold for 4.8 million. I think the last season I loaned him out for a fee, which ended up being 1.5 mil. But I think I sold him this season to Mass for 4.8. Lent a few players out on loan. Stewart went to that Turkish team. I don't know how to say that name. Tesseran went to Angers. Tisserand went to Twente. 2.7. We also sold Lazaro to Rapid Wien for 1.7. We sold a couple of youth players, and obviously one of my main players. We sold Alban Barbier to PSG. How much was it for? 3.6 million. And obviously he looks absolutely amazing, being in their reserve squad at 22 years old. So ha ha ha. Who won there? I did. And then we sold Jeffrey Kondogbia, who was an absolutely amazing player. But we did have Tulalan at that stage, who was actually the club captain, and he was at the stage playing better than Kondogbia, so I sold him for, how much was it? 17.25. So yeah, he's still at their clubs, 30 years old now. Probably should have kept him, but oh well, whatever. Got to move on. I had Ulrich come in. He was starting, well, not starting, but playing as Tulalan's backup anyway. Trowie, we signed Dante this season as well on a Bosman. Oh, this was the season that Gulor came from Rostov on his Bosman. And what a player Kanga actually turned out to be. Probably one of my favourite players. Usually I tend to favour regens more, but this guy, absolute. Let's have a look at his stats, to be honest. He scored and assisted so many goals over the years. Look at this. Alright, first season, 7.22. Who comes in and plays a 7.22 in their first season at a club? I don't know. But 4 goals, pretty poor. 7 assists, decent. The next season, 8 goals, 16 assists, 7.44. Next season, 11 goals, 12 assists, 7.46. He just got better. Then the next season after that, 18 goals, 15 assists, 10 Man of the Match awards, and a 7.75. Then 7 goals, 14 assists. And then the season after that, 11 goals, 20 assists. And then this season, obviously, was a bit disappointing because he didn't really play much, because he is getting on in the years, and his physicals have, kind of declined a little bit. But yeah, got him on a freaking Bosman. Can you believe that? Probably one of the best players, of my tenure at AS Monaco. We also got Patrice Evra, Abraham Adams, Max Grun, who's a backup goalkeeper. Oh, we signed Gonzalez this season for 3 mil from Quilmes in Argentina. And boy, didn't he turn out to be quite a good player as well. Obviously, himself and Ulrich, for the last couple of seasons, have been my 2 deep playing central midfielders with their defensive capabilities. Benali, Jalasi, Chris Clark. Who's Chris Clark? Oh, I remember that guy. Saldana, he was quite shit. How did we do this season in the league? I don't really remember. I think we just came second again. Oh, wow. We went from second to 5th. Interesting. I did not really realise that, but okay. So that's interesting, I guess. We'll get to the next season. So, I don't think, we don't qualify for the Champions League. So we get into the Champions League for 1 season, and then we're out of it. Let me just use the back button, that's easier. Alright, the next season, who left? We sold Borja, the central defender, to Anderlecht. We let Delac go on a free. Stengel left. Gonzalez went out on loan to America, the Mexican team. Jose Campos left. Dante was loaned out. What a waste he turned out to be. Loaned out Aspelenberg. 200k a month, it's a massive loan fee. And then he went to Molds because I don't know why I terminated that, but that was a good loan move. I got a shitload of money out of that. James Rodriguez, why did I sell him? James Rodriguez, as people say. I always used to call him James because it just looks like fucking James, to be honest. James Rodriguez for 4.8 mil to Inter. What a bargain. What an absolute bargain. Abu Diallo went out on loan. Slavuga, he was a pretty decent player. Sold him a couple of seasons ago. And yeah, players in. Jose Campos, he was a Honduran, that's it. Honduran target man, never really played to his potential. We've got Slavuga on a Bosman as well from Rika, who were in the Champions League this season, which is interesting. Sogard was signed on a Bosman as well from Italian, who is actually our backup goalkeeper these days, which is amazing. Played quite a few cup games this season. Dave Martin and Jamie Upton, two half-decent Scottish regen prospects, both signed for 525k. They never lived up to their, ability really. I didn't really play either of them that much. I had, big ups for Jamie Upton when he came, but yeah, I didn't really utilise his potential. Charles Bassey came in for 1.8 mil from Thailand, who, he featured quite predominantly. As you can see, 6 goals in 30 starts with 16 assists was his best season at the club, which was very good. But obviously, I sold him on a little bit down the track for 3.9 mil, where he's still at today. And sorry, I got a cough. And yeah, this season, this year, not this year, but like the year that I'm reviewing right now. It sounds so weird when I say that. Was the year we signed Osterprak, who obviously was touted as a wonder kid, and we signed him from Besiktas for 18.75 million. And I mean, look at him now. Our best player of the season, fans' best player, absolute beast. We also signed Arthur on a free transfer, who we flipped on for quite a bit of profit. Let's have a look. Yeah, no, what? Where's? Oh, there. Yeah, we sold him for 6 mil. Oh, I guess it's not that good a profit. But anyway, so that was the 17-18 season. Let's have a look at how we did. Hopefully we did better than coming 5th in the league. And yeah, there we go. We came 2nd behind PSG. We closed the distance. 10 points, not that bad. Obviously they reached 100. We were on 90 and Marseille were on 80. So we did well. Back into the Champions League after missing out and playing Europa League for a season. And yeah, well, let's move on again. Have a look at the next transfers of the 18-19. Camden left. He was a player I brought in. You'll see him in a second. Clark left, the right back. Carrasco was sold to Tottenham for just over 16 million. Obviously, he starts at the club. Never really featured. He's an inside forwards type player, and I played with wingers. Tulalan was let go on a free. He kind of got too old. He's now a coach of Valencians. I didn't know that either. Grun was let go. Troy, Jose Campos, Adams, sold Montoya for a massive profit, which was awesome. Vicente was also brought in this season. Yep, he was. We loaned him to Partizan. Abu Diallo was let go to Valencians. Who else? Kazawa. That was a big one at the time. He was our backup to Shaw. He was let go to Marseille for 9.25. No one else really to mention. Oh, there we go. Anthony Marshall went to AC Milan for 16.75. That was the season we also sold Luke Shaw for 19 mil to Man City, and James Coleman to Lazio for 1.5, and Dante left on a free. So yeah, brought in Rocky Gordon, who was the goalkeeper. He actually played quite a few games. I remember I had injuries to 2 of my goalkeepers in my squad. He played like the first 4 games of the season, and we won like every game of those 4. So that was crazy. Ramirez never amounted. Gilbert, no, none of these players here really amounted to anything, including Gordon. Camden was half decent. I mean, he's pretty good now. As you can see, he's really developed at AC Milan. He was brought in from a African club. Vicente, obviously, is out on loan at Marseille. Well, he was this previous season. It's turned into an absolute world-class striker, and he will be back at the club next season to give me something to think about, having 3, world-class strikers in my squad. Sommer was brought in, who turned out to be an amazing player for the squad. Obviously, only recently sold him as well. He was brought in from on a Bosman. We signed Horatio Gomez this season as well for 21.5 mil from Juve. Very good player, obviously. Flipped him on for 72 million to Real Madrid. And obviously, we just beat Real Madrid in the Champions League final as well. So, I know, we got 72 million and beat them. So, yeah, what of it? Deal with it. No one else to really mention apart from Kleber, who is the backup right back to my first team squad at the moment, and most of you guys will probably know him as well. Mavinga was brought in. He lasted 1 season, and I sold him as well. And the final player would be Lutzi, who I brought in for how much? 10.75, yeah, 10.75 mil from Chelsea, and obviously he's a world-class centre back. But I don't really use him as much because obviously I only play with 2 centre backs. I did play him at left back quite a lot of his career. So yeah, there's that as well. Alright, the 18-19 season, how did we fare? I think we just came second again, to be honest. Yes, we did, but the league sort of changed, as you can see. PSG had a poor season, coming third on 69 points. Marseille won the League 1 title on 84 points, and we came second on 81. So we were only 3 points off, and we should have actually probably won the league. I think we screwed up in the last couple of games and threw it away. Alright, the 1920 season. Carrier was brought in, or yeah, and I don't know. No, he was sold, that's right. He was a youth player. Yes? Yes, I'm correct. I am very smart. He was sold. Paredes was let go. Quite a few players. As you can see, Mavinga was sold. I think... Was he sold back to the same club that we bought him for him? I think... I don't know. Oh, that was where we sold Stewart, see? We sold Stewart for 6.75. I didn't really think he would amount to anything, and he wasn't actually that good, but that 20 determination always thought in the back of my mind that he could actually become something quite good. And yeah, went to Sociedad, and I had that deal set up for like a whole year of him staying at our club, and during that time he just progressed and progressed at our club, and then obviously when he was playing first team football at Sociedad, he turned into a world class player. Softe Martin, Peredu, another youth player, Bakari, Gilbert, Gordon, heaps of players went out on loan. We sold Marin to Watford. Bruhug went to Mold, who's a nothing player. Espelenberg went to Gent for 1 mil. We sold Fabian Souza, Eric Priya, both players I brought in over here on Bosman's, on Bosman's. I sold them at the end of the season for massive profit. On Bosman's 7.5 and 15 mil, crazy money. I also signed Pepe and a Bosman, signed for 10 mil to Atletico at the end of the season. R2 was let go, so I made a massive amount of money here. This is important to discuss. If you remember, I signed Fabiano in this season, right? I think I did anyway. Yeah, I did. Signed him from Barcelona. He wasn't that good. He had very good passing, but he wasn't that good. I loaned him out for a season and a half to Atletico Mineiro after playing... No, he played half the season at our club, sub-appearances, cup appearances, and then I loaned him out in January, which was the start of the Brazil Ural, or whatever it's called, and he played a whole season there with Atletico Mineiro, turned into the player he is today, and I mean, pretty much our second best player in the whole squad, so yeah, apart from Osterprak. So there you go. Interesting. Sardana was also let go. And Tesserum out on loan to Stade de Reims, who I only very recently found out are actually, well, they once upon a time back in like the 60s were an extremely good club. And they actually were runners-up in the Champions League twice. Interesting little fact for you. Players in. This was about the time that I was the Mexico national team manager. So I brought in one of my players, Ignacio Lopez. You guys will probably remember him. Quite expensive, and he was a massive fucking flop. Then we got Fabiano. Brought in Dare Diallo for 1.3. Giannakopoulos, who was also a bit of a flop as well, at right back. They were brought in for small fees, so it doesn't really matter. The 3 Bosmans I just went over, we got a massive amount. How much did we get? 25 plus 7.5 is 30. We made 32.5 mil on those 3 Bosman transfers. That's crazy. Prahorda, how's he doing at the moment? Oh, we sold him. Okay. I thought he was still in the youth team. Brought him in, Adams in. He could have become a good player. Obviously he's in the reserves and we just loaned him out, but I tried to sell him last season, but it didn't really work. Djordjevic, very good player. Obviously he's on a loan at Lost Lille. But I've got, an abundance of fullbacks, but I will look to bring him into the first team. If not, and I don't see a place for him, I'll probably just sell him. And that was probably the biggest shit transfer I've ever done in the series. Daniel Oliveira. Brought him in when he was in 15, signed a contract with him when he was 15 for 120k, and he turned out to be one of the shittest players ever. So yeah, very good. The 1920 season ended like this. PSG got their title back, and obviously we finished second behind them with a 4-point deficit, so second again. Pretty much the way it went. Alright, back into the transfers of the 2021 season. Rocky Gordon was let go. Ramirez was sold. Youth player Bakary was sold to them to Marseille for 1.2. Slavuga was sold to league rivals Stade Rennes. Jason Steele was sold to Braga. Gamiro went to Betis. Anyone else? Lowry went to Twente. Obviously, I went over him just before. Aubameyang went to Liverpool for 225k. This is when he was like 29 and his stats were decreasing. He lost his pace. A couple of loan moves for a few players, and we sold Papadopoulos to Napoli for 13.25, which I actually made 3.25 mil profit on him from when I actually first bought him, so that was pretty interesting. The players we brought in, Guy Litzler, another one of my little transfers that I got from RC Strasbourg. This time for pretty much half the fee that I brought Ulrich in for 22k. And if you go to his profile, again, he's a fucking quality player. I brought him in for 22k from RC Strasbourg. What the hell? This club is pumping out amazing regens. And they're our feeder club as well. It's crazy. Toto was brought in for 1 mil, who, never really played much and was sold the next season. Santibanez was brought in on a free transfer. Again, I was just looking to flip him on, like I did with the other three players last season, the season before. And he's turned into a first-team player. Crazy. Ike Munane was also brought in on a Bosman, as well as Francois. And right before the season started, I brought in Lars Bender. He was on a free transfer. So I brought him in, and he played very well as the ball-winning midfielder for a season or two, I think. And was, very good. So that was that. Let's see how we actually fared in that season. Oh, what do you know? Second again. 9 points behind PSG that time, so that was a little bit disappointing. But predictable, I guess. Mr. Predictable in at number second. Or in at number 2, I should say. Alright, the outs here. Giroud was sold to Atletico for 20 mil. He was a youth academy product, as you can see. Very good player as well. I just had an abundance of left wingers that were quality. And, I signed Lamproux and Clement, both on free transfer Bosman deals. So we sold him. He wasn't up to the same standard as them two. We'll just say that. Sinandin was another youth academy graduate. He was sold to Valencia for 6.5. Summer was let go to Moscow for 2.5. Tialo to Heverin for 1.5. Lopez to Udinese for 11.75. Giannakopoulos to Watford. This was the season that we sold Horatio Gomez to Real Madrid for £72 million. We also sold Preval to Twente, who was another academy graduate. Upton went to Watford for 2.5. And we sold Ike Munane, who's slowly decreasing in his technical attributes. He was sold to Real for 7 mil. As I mentioned, we brought in Lamproux and Clement, both on free transfer Bosman deals. We also brought in Boucher for 5.5 million, which I think is a really good piece of business. He really excelled this season, so pretty much nailed down a league starting role for himself. We brought in a Kubu, who is just a Japanese regen. I brought him in just to try and boost shirt sales. He's also pretty decent right back, and he's developed quite nicely in the under-19s. So maybe we'll look to send him out on loan. We'll see what happens. We also brought in 2 big transfers that season. In Hernando for 17.5 mil. Had a problem at right back. Kleber was our only right back that was even half decent, and even he wasn't really performing well enough. Hernando was brought in, and obviously, he was in my back four pretty much the whole season. Helped us win League One and the Champions League this season. And then the next player was Richard Hernandez, obviously selling Gomez. I lost my prolific goal scorer. Saw Hernandez was available when we versed Granada in the Champions League group stage, who were taken over Granada. He had a release clause for 26.5 mil, and his stats pretty much looked the same. His pace was a little bit lower, but he had 20 finishing, and that obviously attracted me. And he was, pretty much nearly 50 mil cheaper than what Real Madrid paid for Gomez. So, yeah. And he's scored 25 goals in the league this season, which obviously helped us to the league title. Anyway, that first season with him at the club, we did. Was that the first season? I guess it was last season. Was that last season? 22. 20, oh yeah, this was last season. Wow, I've actually gone through it. So yeah, as you can see, last season we did actually win the league title for the very first time, and as you can see, we won it on goal difference over PSG. I mean, what better way could we actually win our first league title than win it over PSG on bloody goal difference? Like, thank you very much. And yeah, first league title. Thank you very much to PSG for not scoring enough goals that season. All right, and obviously you guys will pretty much know, but I'll go over it. Why not? Let's go over it. Um, the most recent season, as you can see, we let Prahorda go. Vaca is another youth prospect that we left go. He's very, very good, but in this transfer deal, I got a 40% of next sale clause in it. So we sold him for 5 mil plus that clause. Very good. Matenyo was let go. That's a bit sad considering we won the league again. I mean, we won the league with him at the club, so that was really good, but we won the Champions League as well this season. Bassi was let go. Babiaro, another youth academy graduate. We sold Clement, who we signed on a Bosman the season before. We let him go to PSG for 37.5 mil. That's quite a profit there. Let Ototo go to Braga for 2.1. Couple of loans. Majiri, another youth academy graduate, was sold to Chamonix Norte for 1.5. And Laurent is another youth academy graduate who was sold to Ajax for 1.5 mil. And this season we only brought in Putha on a Bosman from Ajax, Chavarinho from Corinthians for 950k, who obviously has that German nationality. And if I show you this, he's got 20 passing now. That's gone up, so as you can see, increasing in all these stats. Obviously capped at under 19 level for Germany. But if I go into his information, and then we have a look at his personal information, you'll see something very, very interesting. Touted as the next Franz Beckenbauer. Franz freaking Beckenbauer. What a bloody player this guy was back in his day, playing for, Bayern the Cosmos in New York. Absolute world-class player. So if he can become somewhat of a similar player to Beckenbauer, that would be absolutely amazing. And surely he's got to be a wonder kid with that type of comparison, I guess. And the last player was Stefano Stevens, who we brought in for 1.3 mil from Club Bruges, who is a right back. Oh, okay. I brought in another youth right back, and he's Belgian, so that's interesting, I guess. Let's have a look at how we did this season. Obviously in the league, you guys pretty much should know how we did. As you can see, current season, won the league by an absolute, dominant amount. PSG came third, so that was pretty good. Marseille came second on 77, and we came first on 102 points. That's the highest anyone's ever gotten. Beats PSG there. Yeah, that's the highest anyone's ever gotten since I've been playing, so that's crazy. I didn't realise that till just then. Wow. Okay, that is amazing. And as you can see, things have changed for France. They've got 4 Champions League spots and 3 Europa League spots as well. That's changed over the years as well, with me, Marseille and PSG being really dominant in the Champions League. Well, mainly PSG, but I think Marseille had a good run a couple of seasons ago as well. Anyway, that is basically it for this special episode 50, not a review, it's kind of like a series, a road from where we have come from. I think that's what I'll call it. The road from where we've come from. Even though that doesn't really make sense, but whatever. Anyways, guys, I hope you've enjoyed it. I know it's been a really long episode, so if you could please hit that like button for me, that would be amazing. Obviously, this is going to take a shitload of time to actually, create, because I've got to render it and put it through a, compressing file system thing. I don't know what I do. It's called something weird, but I just make the file sizes smaller, that's all. Yeah, obviously rendering a however long this is. I think it's like 30 minutes long or something like that. Should be 35 minutes even. It's gonna take a a shit long time. So, and I've sworn a lot in this episode. I realize that now. Anyway, don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment. Um, you know, on what you think of the series so far, this journey that we've all been on. Like I said in the Champions League episode, I appreciate you guys so much. Um, as of this video, or as of me recording this video, we have 314 subscribers, or I do, on my channel, which I never could have imagined having that many subs. It's kind of interesting, to be honest. I really didn't think anyone would actually ever watch my videos. So, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll see you in the next episode, which will be episode 51, preseason. Don't forget to watch it, guys. And yeah, we'll play the next season out, and we'll have some fun in the Club World Championship and stuff like that. Try and retain our Champions League. Try and win a treble of League Ones as well. We'll try and win every competition we're in, I guess. That will be my aim. See ya, guys. It's been me, AuspiciousAussie, and goodbye.